One. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome once again to your favorite program on YouTube, Diaspora Radio. My name is Mark, and wherever you are in the diaspora, US, Canada, Australia, UK, Ghana, so long you're a Nigerian or African in diaspora, this radio is for you. Uh, we have today some of our co-anchors in the house. My usual co-anchor who is IK, Ekelem in Philadelphia. We are welcome. And also we have a new person today from Chicago, David. David also, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yes. Last week we talked about the protest, where we were deliberating on the protest that was going on in Nigeria. And please, if you are online, whoever is online, you can drop a comment on the chat box. And yeah, so last week we are talking about the protest. We saw some series of protests across Nigeria and the world, and it was like a kind of a beacon of hope for everybody. So let me see, who do we have here? I think somebody's trying to join. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah, so before I go into all this stuff, IK, what's up with Philly now? Any protest for that side? What thing happen for that side?
But they do protest though. But the truth is, say, like my wife just showed me the link for Nigeria. I didn't know, but I just joined the group today. So she showed it to me today. There's a Philly Niger group.
Oh.
So I thought to join the group or know about the group today. But they did the protest last night,
Just yesterday.
Just yesterday, man. And I saw a lot of it, like they have a Facebook page now, which I've joined and everything. I did that today. So, and a lot of people came out, like a lot of Nigerians came out because Philly is it's like a mecca for Black people somehow, so a lot of people came out. So, even though I was like, damn, I would have, wished that I was part of it because where they started to do, because the protest started like 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So, and the place they started it for the protest was basically somewhere that is a little bit close to where I live. So, yeah. So, but they have to, a lot of cities are doing it now. They have to.
David, how far? What of Chicago? When any protests?
So a friend of mine told me yesterday that there was going to be a protest in downtown, and he went there. And I've not heard from him. But about sometimes last week there was one protest in Hyde Park, Chicago, that I participated. I joined the protest to lend my voice,
Yeah.
to stand up for the principles of justice and freedom, and the values that strengthens our democracy. That in which is I mean, nobody would watch is read or hear what's going on in Nigeria and not just want to lend their voice to it.
Yeah.
Especially in a country where there are about 200 million people, which is rich in human and natural resources. But for some reasons, the country is still in squalor, and poverty has like pervaded the whole society.
Yeah.
And graduates, like young people, can't even, make earn a living. And on top of that, to be brutalized in your own country by the law enforcement that's been instituted to protect you. It's something that you can't even grapple. You can't grapple with, and we can all make a stand by protesting, like physically protesting and joining a protest, or um, going online and and joining the campaign for Endsars. You know, So however we can in our own capacity to lend our voice to that principle, that value
Yeah.
to to promote humanity in Nigeria. It's we should do that, and that's why I joined the protest here in IPARK.
Okay. But
After my work on that day, I came back and I joined the protest for like an hour. I was there marching, you know, to, with
one
other
question
Nigerians.
sorry to cut you short. One question I want to ask is sometimes when I see some of these diasporan protests, I don't know, something tells me that there is no effect. I don't know if it's true or not. Like we in the diaspora protesting, do you think there's any effect as much?
I think it sparks a conversation. Like people who don't really know what's going on around the world. They see you marching on the streets, they stop you, and ask you what's going on. What are you guys clamoring for? What are you guys conversing for? You talk to them. You tell them, oh, we are Nigerians. This is what's going on here. And some people like driving by, they press their honk, like pledging their solidarity to your campaign.
Hmm.
And you know,
Okay,
it,
basically awareness. Yes, just like it expands the awareness. But what I'm
yeah,
saying is that the government would they in Nigeria, like for example, would they listen because of diasporans protesting? That's one. Anyway, that's a
I,
topic
I
for
think
another
they
day.
do. Sorry for cutting you short, but I think they do because the reason is that uh, when we talk about protest, we are talking about like you were protesting, like we're in diaspora. When we protest, we're talking about protesting in a foreign land. And when we do that, this is a country that, like, for instance, US here, a country that is kind of, civilized and a lot of the system is really working. Sometimes they try to involve the police to make sure that things go right. Even in UK, people are protesting. They have the police around just to make sure things go right. So when they do that, which means the mayor of the city is going to be aware, the government of the city is going to be aware, and all these kind of these and a country that keeps data and something that happened like 200 years, they still had the data about it. So those effects, those informations are being relayed. Like it makes other people. And like what David said, and I totally agree with David. Like most time people don't really know this. Like, oh, like they just hear about if you can see somebody like a Nigerian living in US trying to protest, that shows you like they are even them living in US or living in diaspora, they still have full love for their country, for their motherland.
Yeah.
Because if everything is all good, the truth is that most of us will not leave Nigeria. I
yeah.
cannot. So we not live there to be in another country where we have to, grapple with a lot of situations or racial biases and other stuff that happens. So I think it really does have effect. And again, when these things come in, it creates this awareness and creates this where people contribute or donations and stuff like that. You can even hear people that are not even Africa that want to be like, okay, what can we do? How can we contribute to these cause you guys are fighting for? So I think it does, but
Okay.
it might not be as you think, like, but I think every protest, no matter how small it is, as far as an awareness is being created to let people, educate people, like this is what our countrymen are going through in our motherland. Like, we, even though we are not there, but we know that what affects them affect us. Because if they are not doing too well, they're gonna be asking us so much money. They're gonna be giving us stress, and we don't want stress. So we want
Yeah.
things to be okay. So yeah, I think it does. I think it does have effects.
About as the protest started getting intense, we saw a series of occurrence like lots of jailbreaks in Nigeria. Like there was one in Edo, there was one jailbreak in Warri, and
Yeah.
where again? Many jail.
There was
What?
an attempt in Lagos.
Kirikiri. Which jailbreak did Kirikiri?
There was an attempt, but I don't think it was successful.
Yeah.
Is that
In Lagos.
Ikeja?
I think it's Kirikiri. I don't know. Maximum.
Okay, was not successful.
It was unsuccessful.
But do you
But
think these are part of game plan by the government, or this? Clearly, of course, it's not Endsars protest. Because we all know
yeah,
that.
I think some miscreants and hoodlums who are dissatisfied with this situation of the country. The protest wouldn't have escalated to this point if the government or the operation Crocodile Smile had not shot live rounds or live ammunitions into like peaceful protesters. You have the hoodlums who their life is pretty much um, gone. They don't have anything to lose, and even with growing up on the streets, they still feel they still have that basic decency that no matter what, a government shouldn't. I don't know if they were actually instructed to shoot live rounds, but a government shouldn't deploy soldiers to come and disrupt peaceful protests. And to the point where people were killed. That's what infuriated people. That's what they angered people. Like even with all you've done to us, you're still gonna deploy soldiers to come to and disrupt our protest to the point where they kill us, and the hoodlums hijack the protest and take laws into their hands. Dr. King says riot is the language of the unheard. When we clamor, we bellow, we shout. Now over and over for years, nobody hears us. And on top of that, you instructed the soldiers to come kill us. Riot is going to be the order of the day. That's going to be the language they can.
You're talking about this Lekki toll gate massacre, right? This toll gate stuff. Now the government is coming out to deny that there is not. They didn't. The army first of all deny it, and the government saying where are the dead bodies and all of that.
Yeah, but what you have to know is, Mark, is that you are talking about Nigerian government, like
yeah, right.
The country we were born and raised out, so we've heard about snakes swallowing our 36 million. Heard about so much stuff. So we've even heard about when a lot of soldiers were killed, a lot of people, and they buried them, did a mass burial. They denied that nobody was killed. So in terms of lies or propaganda, we know that. One thing I would say is that we know that when you come to the issue of discipline and stuff, supposed to be in the military, there's no way such action will be carried by the foot soldiers without getting an order, because they move by order. So for those shootings, for those massacre or things to happen, somebody gave them the order. So for the governor and every other person keep on saying that they are not aware, or that it is beyond their control, giving some flimsy excuses, whereas lives are lost, it shows you how they don't regard Nigerian lives as important.
Okay, let's look at it like let's be objective. Like for example, in Nigeria, anything is possible. Could it be possible that some men, they just saw some uniform from some men, maybe some Boko Haram members, and just go and unleash the mayhems there, just to blame it on the government? Do you think it's possible, something like that?
I would say no. The reason why I would say no is that, let's say, for instance, objectively, now I'm not looking in a subjective way.
Yeah.
If I want to fight for something, like I need something to be done, I'm still talking about like I have like stores, I have businesses and stuff. Like that's why I'm like, there's a difference between protest and rioting. There's even a difference between peaceful protest and protest itself. So when you talk about hoodlums and stuff, like, I believe very well that a lot of these people were paid to do that, because every time there is war and chaos in the land, there are a group of people that are benefiting from it. And those people don't want peace. They don't want things to be right. They don't want good governance and stuff. So I don't really think a good person that is striving and fighting for justice will decide to come outside and be like, you know what, why don't we sew uniform? Why don't we shoot other people so that we can blame the whole thing? Like, this is, for me, is a conspiracy. Like, it's a false.
Then again, anything can happen in Nigeria,
And anything can happen. But I'm just saying, objectively, I can totally say that a lot of the things about the hoodlums and stuff, I believe that they were paid. And I believe that every normal average Nigerian citizen that wants things to go right, I don't think they are part of the people that wants to, even the hoodlums, people that that looted things and everything, I don't think those people really, because if I want things to go right, I can't be breaking people's shop and stuff, because that's not hurting the government. Yeah, I know those people pay taxes, but it's not hurting them. It's hurting an average person that might have struggled to raise money to have that small shop. So that's what I'm like saying. I don't really think it's, oh, good people decided to, why don't we do something to sabotage our cause, our fight, so that we can lay all the blame on the government. I don't totally agree with that conspiracy now.
I think we know from credible source that the government said they were going to conduct Operation Crocodile Smile.
Yeah, yeah.
That's enough reason to to believe that it was governments, the soldiers that, that were deployed, that perpetrated that massacre. And let's even assume that it's a militia group that sold uniform and disguise and camouflage as soldiers. That shows the level of insecurity under this clueless government.
Yeah.
It's a system that's failed its citizens. You know, what as the president of the United States, your number one priority is to protect life and properties. And under your tutelage, under your dispensation, you have some sects of people can go and camouflage as soldiers and can kill innocent citizens. That's that, that means you failed in your basic um, um, mandate to protect life and properties.
Right.
Which I don't believe in that conspiracy. I believe that these soldiers, I mean, soldiers have that pattern of conduct. We see it in Baga massacre during Ijirika. They cleared out the old town. We see it during Obasanjo's time in Benue State, where a soldier, I think a soldier was killed. When soldier came to the market, they raised the whole town. They have
I remember Baga something, Baga massacre something that time.
Yeah.
Go on,
Yeah.
go on.
So the soldiers have that. They have that pattern. So I don't the notion that somehow maybe some militia group sold army uniform and attack protesters is just fallacy. It's a
Yeah.
government who doesn't want to be accountable.
Remove the cameras, so they remove it. It
Yeah,
was well
it's a
orchestrated,
government that
right?
doesn't want to be accountable.
Cameras and
That doesn't want to
the
take
lights.
that doesn't want to take responsibility for his wrongdoings. So they should spare us of that bullshit. You know,
So one another thing we're talking about is now that we are in a situation. They say, is it true that if we protest up to 30 days, that the UN will weigh in to this matter? What do you guys think about that? About international bodies? Have they really be of help to this course, like the UN and stuff?
Yeah, I think they can, but I don't have the facts about the number of days one could, protest that will, get the UN involved. But I know very well that if there are a lot of the Geneva laws and war crime, all those kind of stuff. I know there's something like that, but I don't have the specificity in it. Like what are the actual thing that you have to, when it not happen, you'll be like, okay, there is a war crime, or a lot of civilians are, like, number of civilians that will be killed before they consider as a war crime and they start getting involved. So I don't really know, but I know very well that there's a particular number of like, there's how the situation can heighten that it will get the UN involved into the situation.
So after after the Lekki massacre, the president came on and addressed the nation, but he did not address the Lekki stuff, my massacre. Sorry. I was so, like, I was down, even right here. I was so down mentally. I was weak. Imagine me in the diaspora, see how I'm feeling. imagine how people back home are going to feel. People were even thinking of taking therapy classes, going to so many.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what's next now? Like, because why I'm asking this question, we were kind of excited, about the protest that yes, we are fighting for a good Nigeria. Everybody was thinking, okay, we have blocked Lekki Toll Road. I mean, everybody's waking up, and all of a sudden, this shooting started, and it kind of like drenched our energy. Like, oh, more these guys, I mean, they're ready to kill everybody. So
Mm.
what's next now? What's if do we still come out to protest, or what strategies do you think we can bring again, or do we still? What do you think, guys?
I think the best arsenal in our armory now is exercising our franchise by voting. You know, I think the coming election
Hmm.
should actually be a turning point for Nigeria. So this conversation that we're having now, because it started from Endsars, and it's spilled over to like bad governance and corruption in the system,
Yeah.
and poor economy and all of that. And people are beginning to like people who have been quiet, like and dissatisfied with the system. And I'm speaking of that. No, we can't keep recycling this group of generals, this group of old Nigerians, this Buhari who's making consequential decision that's going to impact Nigerians and you and I for the next 20 years. That it's not guaranteed to live in the next 20 years. So how is he going to make decision for the next 20 years? It's a guy almost 80 years. You know, so young people should be in the hands of government. I feel like this movement should rally around and form a committee or form a party and you know, source for funds, from different avenues, like even from people from diaspora. I will contribute whatever I can to that movement
Mm.
and come up with a candidate that can rule the country. Because
Remember,
I'm sure,
sorry to cut you. You are talking about election, but these guys, they own the election system. They own it. But even if we say let's wait till 2023 and
no,
let's turn up our
no,
vote.
Nigeria, no, I think we are capable of conducting a free and fair election. Jonathan's second term, it was a free and fair election where
There's
an
nothing like free
incumbent.
and fair in Nigeria. That
No, no, no. Jonathan's Buhari's first time, that was free and fair. Like people believed in him. People were tired of Jonathan. There's Boko Haram, insurgents in the northeast. He couldn't govern. The prices of goods and services were skyrocketing. The economy was in shambles, and
Yeah,
people were angry with this government, and they believed in Buhari, and they voted. That election was free and fair because that was the first time an incumbent power is losing to an opposition.
I still don't
You
believe
know,
one is free and fair. But
so
according to what we are saying now, I mean, if the youth wait and maybe raise the party and say, okay, this is a youth party, the powers that still hold the country won't let them rule. Just like because they own the power of the military, they can also use violence to still take it.
Yeah, but Mark, I think I get what David is saying. I think it will be different this time around. The reason why I say it's going to be different, like our country, Nigeria, has been plagued with tribalism and a lot of things, and they are played on us based using religion, tribalism, and every other different ways to make us not to really focus on the what is wrong or what is happening to us. But I think this protest, this was the first time in history of Nigeria that we put aside religion, we put aside tribe, we put
Right.
aside a lot of things to come together just to be able to say no, we don't like this. And while it started with Endsars, because SARS was directly affecting people, because when you say bad governance, some people don't really feel that effect, but they don't understand it was bad governance, corruption. These are the things that are the mother that bettered the SARS or bettered the corruption in SARS. Because if there's no bad governance, if there's no corruption, those things cannot be seen in the police system. If it's not in the police system, if there are a lot of great police reforms or policies, the police will be, will be checkmated very well in such a way that they will not be taking laws into their hands. So I think it's going to be different. So I feel like if the next election, as David mentioned, I think that's also what happened last election, during the last, good luck time. He came in because they played on our emotion. They lied to us. They made us realize, like, thinking that another administration or was going to give us something better than what good luck was giving. So we all came with one voice, and be like, what, we're going to vote good luck out. And with the whole world change, they're going to bring dollar, making a dollar to 1 naira. They came with a lot of different stuff, and they bought out, they bought, so, but this time around, I think it's going to be different. So I feel like, if we really come around in the next 3 years, for the next 3 years, we're going to hear it, like, but I think, it's going to be different.
Change can always come. Hello?
Yeah, Aries just join us.
So change, I believe change can only come when we strengthen our democracy, our democratic institutions, and the body that oversees our elections. I know, as much as we can talk about, that corruption in Nigeria and all that, and the state of our democracy, we have actually made tremendous growth in our democracy. Gone are the days where the army can just seize government. Now we have peaceful transition from one democracy to from one democratic elected president to another. And as we keep going deeper and deeper, take for instance, before those protesters would have been dispersed. The first day they gathered in Lekki, they would have been dispersed.
They also have to go after. Look, if you look at it, you can look at what we want.
Okay. I think it's a Dixon.
Hey,
the thing is, before
welcome, I can hear you. Okay, go on.
Before those protesters would have been dispersed the first day at Lekki toll gate. And before we have a government office, before the government would have killed those protesters and still beat their chest, like, where we killed them for disobeying. Now you have a government that can that lies about the massacre, because it's a shame, or it's a shame to even come out and say, we killed our citizens that are protesting peacefully. So what I'm saying is, our democracy has improved, but we are not where we are.
I don't think. Sorry for cutting short. I don't think that is democracy. I think the thing they're trying to avoid, external body from having a reason to come into, because it's not only like Nigeria. If you look Cameroon as well too, they kill their citizen. The president does the same. Even though there's a proof, there's videos, everything that shows that the army are killing people, the government still deny it. You get, so I don't really think it's all about democracy. I think the main thing, they're trying to avoid external body from coming into Nigeria and take over.
No, see, Nigeria is a sovereign country. External body can't just come to Nigeria and take over. That's not how things work.
That's where you get it wrong. Because if you look,
no,
Libya, Libya. This Gaddafi is in Libya, right? How do you think that played? How do you think that played? That played in a way that, just like in Nigeria, no every other country, they look for a way to say things are not going well in this country. We are coming in to help this country to create peace. But indirectly, they're not coming to create peace.
They are coming to disrupt the country.
Yeah, that's what is happening. And that's what happened to Libya. That's what is happening in Libya. Afghanistan. That's what they're trying to do to Iran as well. They use the term they are producing a nuclear weapon.
Before America will come to your country, they would have an interest. Before all this so-called superpower, they would have an interest in your resources.
You think there's nothing in Nigeria that they have interest on?
The reason why they actually are is because of Iran. Iran interest in having a nuclear weapon.
America don't have. But the question is, America doesn't have nuclear weapon. China doesn't have a nuclear weapon. You felt America doesn't have nuclear weapon.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But why are they keeping from other countries not to have? Because they want to remain in power. And when the country insists on getting it, what happened? They invade. The same thing is happening in Iraq, Afghanistan.
The reason why America invaded Afghanistan was because they thought Osama bin Laden was hiding in Afghanistan, and the Taliban terrorizing, the terrorist group. Because Americans are trying to keep terrorism away from America by degrading terrorism from its source. That's why Afghanistan was invaded. But with Iran now, Iran has an issue with America where
the truth there is that what is happening now is not just about America.
Okay, I think Henry, sorry for cutting you guys short, but I think Henry, you have a point there, because one thing I realize that African leaders do a lot is that they know what they gain when they don't really have other countries, the foreign countries, coming in to look into their business. Because when they look into their business, it's like blowing wind on the butt of a hand, because you're gonna see,
and they lose a lot.
So they are trying as much as possible. That's why they can be doing the bad thing. Because even in Kenya, there was a time they was in a hostel in Kenya. They killed a lot of people, terrorists or whatever, Al-Shabaab or whatever came in. They still denied. So I think that's also one of the reasons in terms of denial. That's why I'm like, I'm not surprised when they do deny, or even when the president came in and didn't even say anything in regards to the situation.
Because they don't want to give them any reason. Yeah. Back then, they used religion and code to come into Africa. Yeah. Now they know that using that, the only way they can actually invade any country to take power, to take control. It's not really power. They use just the way they use religion and come in saying, "Oh, we come in peace," but really not in peace. And the same thing that they are trying to do. They will come like, "We are coming to help you guys, to bring peace to this country, to let this war, this fight, everything goes down." But really, what they are coming, they're using one hand to come, using the other hand to take a lot from you. And the only way they do it is when there's no peace in the country, because then nobody is now looking. Everybody is trying to see. Everybody is trying to run for safety, stuff like that. Then they start milking you till you become nothing.
Yeah, that's in the case of anarchy, where there's lawlessness and there's just extrajudicial killing. There's like in the case of war, they don't have any option than to like come. But because few protesters were killed, America would now invade Nigeria and offset Buhari. That's not possible.
No, you're not getting the point. You're not getting the point. It's not few protesters. First of all, when they are killed, and if the government admits, that means you're not kind of admitting that you did this thing, which is against human rights. You get my point now? So they're going to come in. It's not like they will just come into the country. It's a gradual process. From there, they're going to sanction you. Then they're going to say, okay, this. Like they're taking power from you.
They can sanction you, but to invade your country and offset your president, it's not possible. They
can do that now.
But they did it to Libya.
They do it. I think the problem you have now, the issue you are having because you have been in America too long, you forget how things are done. They will create those problems.
Americans are killed in Libya.
Make it okay, like the one that happened in what was this country now? Rwanda, where the stuff that happened
in Rwanda,
fighting each other. How do you think Abu is sponsoring those fights?
See, for now, what I would say is that, because I feel like question mark you raised now is about, okay, now what do we do now, and what should we do during the time of election with what is happening? Because when the protest started, it was very peaceful. Yeah, it was decentralized. It wasn't like, oh, this group of people are like the leaders, and it was going too well. Then the massacre came. Now we started being afraid because we have loved ones back home. So the question you asked, if I'm very correct, is now this stuff, the massacre has happened and people are being traumatized, and we've seen
scared,
what is the next move? What should we do now? And what should we do during the time of during the election? What is the next step to do? I think if I get you correct, that's what you're asking. Okay, for me, I will basically implore that the youth don't go. There's a difference between. That's why I mentioned there's a difference between rioting and protest. So I will implore that people shouldn't do the whole rioting, because when you break, like people have stores or have businesses and you're breaking through these businesses, people feel things already had back home. And if you're looting these people, these people pay taxes that the government take, but the same people is where they feed their families from. So I will implore that the protest should still go on. Like I said, now I've joined the group, I will still do the protest. But what I will implore that the whole rioting people will do, let's still be doing the peaceful protest we started with,
But if the protests keep going on, the government will keep sponsoring thugs to come in.
Apart from sponsoring talk, I think with protests, there will definitely be a riot. That's just the truth. Because even here in America, when there were protests, then it happens as well. They try to break into shops, into cars, but the only thing there is that a place like Nigeria, it will be hard to control, to say, just like Mark said they will bring talks, which is true. These current protests that happened, a lot of talks that the government paid actually to come and disrupt it, so it will look like, oh, the protest is now bad, we're not coming in to save the day, which is what actually happened. They make it look that way. So it's kind of trickish. But my own view, the way I see it, I just felt like for peace to reign, you have to go to war. That's to say, yes, some people will die, things will go bad, but the thing there is that most countries that have what they have today, they go through one kind of distress or so.
Like revolution, you mean?
Yeah, kind of. Actually, but the bottom line there is that there's no way there's going to be a peaceful protest. That just it will be hard, because one set of people will use that peaceful protest as a way for them to get.
What's your solution? Like David mentioned that the only way is his own view is we should wait till 2023 for an election. What do you think?
No, I'm not saying no. I didn't say it's the way like that. I'm saying the movement should still stay together, form a cohesive front, and meet from time to time and form like a political party and rally their base and connect to Nigerians, day-to-day Nigerians, and come up with a candidate. They should do like an American election where they're going to have like debate between like four or five people who are vying for presidency within that party, and they have like debates where people can come and ask them questions, and they tell them their vision, what they're going to do, how they're going to reverse some policies that's not working, how they're going to engage the world, how they're going to strike trade deals that's going to better the life of Nigerians. So that's how you can connect with Nigerians. That's how you can be different from the so-called political parties we have now, and that's how you can win an election. So when you do that, people you connect with people already. People don't just see you as, oh, those are the guys protest, because now there's no face to the movement. There's nobody like saying like, I'm the leader of the movement. That's how you can have a leader of the movement. That's how you can have a united front. That's how you can connect with voters, and that's how you can kick these people out of office.
But I don't believe, because I don't believe we can wrestle these guys out of power through that election process.
David, I'm sorry that I'm actually not agreeing with you, but the truth there is that Nigeria is so corrupt that what you are saying, until Nigeria, the only reason those debates works in the Western world is because they hold them accountable. You say this and you end up not doing it. But Nigeria, in fact, it's not just Nigeria, I would say Africa as a whole is so corrupt to the extent, right from when we get our independence today, they keep on telling us this is what we are going to do. So coming out to say you are doing a debate, they will come out to do a debate and tell you all the things they believe you want to hear from them, just for you to think they are the best candidates.
I'm not talking about
until we are lucky to put someone in power that will actually change the system for the good. The election the way it's going now will keep on going.
And that's what I'm saying. We have to start now. That's the only power we have.
So if I get you guys correctly, sorry for interrupting, is that David, you are saying that we should the election because I was, aligning to what you're saying because I haven't seen Nigeria much like that before because we have so much tribalism going back home. But for the whole, people didn't come in, like people were cooking food, sharing with, people were even looting and giving food, things they looted from the COVID palliative or whatever to people that are not of the same tribe with them, but because they consider those people are homeless and hungry. So I haven't even seen that united front, a very long time. So I think from that perspective, I see what you are saying, David, in regards to that it's possible in the next election, if we come with that front, we came regards to these Endsars, that we could really kick these people out. But at the same time, I also see what Mark and Henry, what you guys are saying, because I try to get, because Nigeria is very complex. You can't really totally be like, oh, this is exactly is gonna work. But I see what you're also saying in regards to until big revolution happens or war, because you know very well that these old generals that have been dictators in 2 decades or 3 decades ago are now our presidents in our, in democracy, like how hard it's gonna really be, and how the corruption that, eating deeply into our system, that is gonna be hard until revolution. But why I don't really preach revolution, I agree with you, Henry, with what you're saying, because as far as I'm here in US, I can't really say, okay, because I know the revolution is gonna change stuff, but because I'm here, I'm in my safe comfort zone. I can't be able to be like, oh, I don't want to be Nnamdi Kanu. I will be out of the country and be, telling people to go and fight or carry arms. Or I can't be that person because
No,
it's
sorry for dropping just to
yeah.
point it out. My point, I'm not saying like revolution, like they should revolt or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to say is until we are able to get someone there that comes out, just like let's assume Buhari now when he entered and he actually does the same thing he said, change the system. All those people are accountable, those that steal everything. That is when we start seeing a good Nigeria. Because if one person gets in, they actually work for the people, then it might continue that way.
Yeah, but if I hear you correctly, what you mentioned was when you're talking about revolution, you were trying to let David understand like the whole process of democracy and our united front and waiting 2023 and voting with the voice we have now. You don't think it's gonna, because you feel like it's gonna be hijacked again.
Yes,
what Mark is thinking.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking as well too.
No,
it's going to be hijacked.
No, I don't think it's going to be hijacked. There could be an attempt.
They will hijack it. Not get here. Not be Nigeria with it.
So, but see, that's the problem. We are not, because they're going to try to hijack it. Doesn't mean we shouldn't fight for what we believe in. You know what I'm saying?
Military. They have the power.
Some people have to like, spearhead the change. And I believe that the only way we can find, the only way that's we can avoid bloodshed and a peaceful change and transformation in Nigeria is by rallying this base now that we have, because a lot of people are loyal to this. In fact, the killing of these protesters has vindicated this protest, has given them a global accolade, like all around the world. Just like Dr. King, in those, people see how they were facing the water hoses and dogs were sick on people. And that's what gave Dr. King the global recognition he had. Although he was killed along the line, but till today, he still inspires people. So if we can form a united front around these people, it could be you and 4 of us here. We can have like a forum on the internet. We just debate. We can form a debate where people ask us questions and we connect with people in Nigeria and how we criticize the government and what we can, like, let's say Buhari strikes. There was a time I was reading that Buhari struck a deal with Siemens. Siemens is a German company, and is a German is the IT company or whatever, right? Siemens.
Yeah.
And it's a multi-billion-dollar deal. People were like praising him. I'm like, man, I'm not impressed. You could invest that money in Andela. Andela is a startup tech in Nigeria, and you tell Andela to employ Nigerians, and that's how you keep money. That's how you grow your economy. That's how you provide jobs for your people. And if they need more training, part of the money they're going to get from the government in that deal is to send few Nigerians to like maybe China or America to come get these skills, come back and invest, and because that's how you grow your economy. So
Right.
if you invest that money in Angela, Angela is going to pay taxes. You get part of the money back. You build your infrastructure. That's how you keep money in your country. But if you're always a consumer country where you want to buy a stick of match, you go to China all the time and you keep you keep saying there's no money, or you just invested billions of dollars into the Chinese economy. How are you going to get money? So we need to have a nationalistic um mindset. So it's made in Nigeria and keep it in Nigeria. We have our resources, keep in Nigeria. So okay, sometimes I do Uber on the side, and as you all know, I was Ubering this guy. This guy is a white American. Then I was driving my Toyota Avalon, and he told me that Hyundai, that's the car we call a Hyundai in Nigeria, Hyundai. So in the early 90s, Hyundai is made in South Korea. They make the worst cars ever. But now Hyundai cars are like one of the top cars driven in the United States. So if Innocent makes car, you can provide you can make it like a credit system where people can get car on car notes. That's how you make people spend. That's how that's how you stimulate the economy. And if Innocent can make cars, it can make tractors. And if Innocent make tractors, you can subsidize the sale of tractors to local farmers. And Nigeria can go back to the oil palm and groundnut or whatever.
I'm gonna cut you
because if you're not a manufacturing country,
I'm
you
gonna
don't
cut you
control the
short,
price of the
David. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I mean, I want you to keep on going, but the time has really run out. But I like those points you're bringing up about the being a consumer country. That would be a topic for another day because we have a lot to talk about that in
we have to be a manufacturing country.
our growth.
There's no way we can make headway.
Yeah.
So
I want to say thank you. This is 20 minutes out of the time. Sorry, guys. It's supposed to be 30 minutes, but we took 20 minutes out of it because of this is a very massive topic. Like as you all know, we have all weighed our say in this. I want to say thank you, David, for coming in. David from Chicago, Henry from Indiana, I came from Philadelphia. Thanks, and every one of you who are watching this broadcast right now. I know Nigerians, they are all asleep right now, but most people who are in this time zone could see this. I think I see 3 people online watching, but when the video once you get off this, please go in and like the video so that the algorithms kind of recommend it to other people. And we talk about what's next in kind of a summary what we did today. We talk about what's next after the protest, and so there's some suggestions we're talking about going through getting ready for the next election, opening up a youth party, and another was like revolution in our mind. And one thing I also believe is that revolution doesn't have to be violent. There's a non-violent revolution. Yeah. So what in conclusion of this is that what this protest has brought is that everyone is wide awake. We have known this politicians trick of divide and conquer, and that's how the revolution have started. It might take years, but we will surely get there. So I want to say thank you. Yeah, I want to say thank you. Next week Sunday we'll see again with more people, and we'll talk about another topic, another headlines during the week. Thank you, David. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, IK. And signing out right now in 3, 2.